Hello crafters, this is Adrian here wanting to come in and share with you a simple project that I'm going to be constructing today as a tutorial. Now what you see in front of you are on your screen are some gift bags that I've made. They measure about 4¼ by 6½ in length. The gussets 1 inch, and also, there is a back, and I usually kind of try to keep the back plain just in case, whoever, receives this, they want to re-give it and maybe make some changes or add to it. Now, I just stuffed some tissue paper in here just for the sake of it, um, just showing you how it's going to look once it's already, um, put together. I made one Christmas one and one birthday one for, a kid. So I'm going to go ahead and start giving you what we're going to be using to make this little gift bag. First off, you're going to need a pair of scissors. You're going to need your scoreboard. You're going to need a bone folder or scoring tool, and or you can use your bone folder to score as well, but I like to use a different one for my scoring, especially when I'm using thicker paper. Like I said, you're going to need just one sheet of paper, which is 8½ by 11. I'm using the 65-pound cardstock from Recollections, which is um, the standard paper. Nothing too fancy, but it's going to be a little bit, once we finish, you'll see how, once you complete it, you'll see how thick it'll be, which is going to be ideal for what you're going to be using it for. If you're using it for swaps, packaging swaps or Happy Mail, or even, like I said, giving a gift, a small gift, this is what you're going to need. Now, you're also going to need some glue, and I'm going to be using my art glitter glue to construct it, and also whatever elements you're going to be decorating it with, you're going to have to go ahead and take some of those out. And what I usually do is just have some stuff on standby, like some die cuts or stickers and things like that to help out with the decoration. You're also going to need maybe some seam binding or ribbon for your handle, and that's about it. That's about it. It's going to be a simple little tutorial. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you what score lines need to be made on your one sheet of paper. So you're going to put it in your scoreboard, your paper, at the 8½ inch at the top, and you're going to score at 1 inch. And you're going to score all the way down from top to bottom, 1 inch. And then at 7½ inches, you're going to go ahead and score that all the way down. Okay, once you've got your score lines done, you're going to turn it just one time. And you're going to score at 2½ from top to bottom, 3 from top to bottom, and 3½ from top to bottom. Okay, so then we're going to go over to the far left side and score at 7¾ 8¼ and 8¾ Okay, that's 7¾ 8¼ and 8¾ Make sure those score lines are visible and okay, perforated very well. Okay, so go ahead and take that sheet of paper, and what we're going to do now is take our pair of scissors, and I like to start at the bottom of the paper. You can start at the top, it doesn't really matter. You choose which direction you want to start. And at that first score line here, let me put a little closer, this is going to be the first score line from the left. What I'm going to do is just cut a notch out at that line and cut it all the way up to the first score line, which is that 1-inch line going across, and just take that little notch out. I'm going to skip that score line, and then I'm going to do the same to the other score line here. The third score line, I'm going to cut it at a little angle. It's like it just cutting a little slice of pie, just a little thin. You want to taste it, but you don't really want to, you know, you don't want a whole slice. So we're not going to take too much out because this is actually going to be our support for our bag, either the top or the bottom. Okay, so once you're done with that, go out to the next score line over, which we're going to be closer to the left, to the right hand side now, but we're going to go ahead and take a little slice of pie from that. Go ahead and snip all the way up to the line. Try not to go over the line, and make sure that you're not too far from that line, because we need to get it directly to the line, because once we start folding, we don't want to have to paper to tear. Okay, you're going to skip that next line and go ahead and do that very last score line. You're going to cut it out at a notch. Just notch it on both sides, so that way when you fold it, it won't have that much, as much bulk. Okay, so now you're going to turn your paper around, and I want to go ahead and mirror the first other side that we just completed. Go ahead and mirror that and cut those notches out the same as you did on the other side, making sure that you cut all the way up to that first score line, which is that first 1-inch score line that we made. I'm going to skip one and do the third one. Okay. And we're going to continue to trend by going over to that far right side where we did those other score other score marks, and go ahead and cut those as well. And make sure that you're using the, going to that line and cutting out that little slice. And then going to the very last one, because you're going to skip that middle one and go to that last one and cut out a little notch there. All right. Go ahead and remove those little triangles. Okay, so the next part of this is we're going to go ahead and establish which one we're going to use as our front, or as our top or bottom. So what I'm going to show you is how I go ahead and construct it, because all of the cutting has been done. Now the only thing that's left other than decorating is actually just putting it together now. Okay, so we're going to take that our bone folder, and let's just score these, because I'm going to use this one as my top. I'm working from the bottom up, but this is actually going to be the top. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and give them a good pressing down, making sure that, you know, those folds are correct and meet at that first score line, which is that 1-inch score line. Okay. And I know I said I had another tool, but I can't find it, so I'm just going to use my bone folder. So that's why I use my bone folder to go ahead and score. I have another scoring tool somewhere around here, but I just can't put my hands on it. So, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and get my art glitter glue and glue these in. Doesn't take a whole lot of the glue. And I'm going to go ahead and just glue all of them down on the top. And this is just going to give myself, like I said, some reinforcement, because if you're wanting to use it, put in some ribbon as I did, you don't want that ribbon pulling through and ripping your bag, so you may want to add some reinforcement to the top. Okay, so now that I've gotten that done, it's safe for me to go ahead and turn it around so that let me move this out of the way, because you probably can't see with this scoreboard in the way. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and fold on some of these score lines. So working on the left hand side, I'm going to fold that first line in. I'm going to fold on that first line and give it a good varnish. Okay. I'm going to skip a line. I'm going to skip that second line, and I'm going to fold on the third line and just fold it over and varnish it. That's it real good, so that way we'll have a good angle once we start putting it together. Now we're going to go to that other line here on the right side, the one on the inner side, and just close it in like just so. Give it a varnish. You're going to leave that middle line, and then we're going to fold on that very last line and fold it in. Okay? Okay, so this is what we got so far. And this is actually how the bag is going to construct, just so. Okay? So you'll see that there may be just a little overhang, a 1/2 inch overhang, and that's where we're going to adhere them. But I want to go ahead and varnish the bottom and get those trained to fold upward, because we're going to go ahead and get everything glued together, and it's going to go by really quick here. Go ahead and varnish those lines. Get those trained to fold up, because once we get this bag assembled, we're going to go ahead and fold those up. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm going to take my left side and fold it in on the third line that we've already created. We've already established that line, so it's already folded inward. And I'm going to go ahead and take a line of glue from the top to the bottom. Just one line of glue. And on the very end, I'm going to take a line of glue, and we're working from the inside of the last fold here. So we're on the inside now on the other side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this on that first, I'm going to take the right hand side and fold it across onto that other onto that other side. So the right meets the left, the right overlaps the left side. And I'm going to take my bone folder here and just varnish it down so that the glue can adhere. So now we have the shape of the bag, and it's all adhered. And if you're using wet glue, just like I said, just give it a little rub. And even with using your score tape or whatever kind of adhesive you're using, go ahead and kind of press it in so that it can go ahead and get that adhered. Now what we're going to do with this seam on the top here, we're going to go ahead and fold in that bottom flap just as I'm doing here. Go ahead and fold that in. And I'm going to go ahead and add some glue onto these small flaps here. You can see that these two flaps here I'm going to add glue. So just take your glue or your tape and just put your adhesive on both sides and go ahead and fold those in just so. Okay, just hold it for just a moment. If you're using this glue, just hold it for just a moment so that way it could go ahead and adhere to that other flap. Now I'm going to take my glue again, add some glue on the bottom flap. Doesn't take a whole lot, just enough. Make sure that it is so that it can adhere to those smaller flaps as well as the larger flap that we've already put in, and just go ahead and press it on. Don't press too hard. You don't want it to break away. So go ahead, and if you have smaller hands, you can actually put your hand in there, or you can take the bottom of your bone folder and stick it down in there. And while you're holding the base of the box, and get that to go ahead and adhere. So at this point, you've already got your little bag. It looks like a box, but it's really a bag. Okay, so we're going to turn it to the side where there is no seam. We're going to turn that over. That's going to be the front of the bag. Well, on the sides, I want you to go ahead and press in the sides and kind of fold it on those middle score lines that we made. Go ahead and fold both sides, just so. Okay, go ahead and fold both sides in. And give it a good crease as you're folding it. You know, try to give it a good crease. And then at the very bottom, you're going to see that it's kind of indented here. Go ahead and fold the bottom into the bag. Okay, go ahead and take your bottom folder and give it a good crease. Okay, so you've already created the bag. You can use it like this. If you're using pattern paper, it wouldn't look so bad. It wouldn't look as plain, even though this doesn't look bad. It's just lacking something, in my opinion. I think it does need something. So what I'm going to do with this is now I'm going to take my hole punch. I'm going to use this We Are Memory Keepers hole punch here. I'm going to take the smaller hole punch, which is the 1 centimeter. I think it's 1 centimeter hole. I think, I'm not sure. Well, anyway, I'm going to take the smaller hole punch and put it like, I've already set my dial to 1 inch. So this inch is going to go, the hole is going to be 1 inch from the top of the bag. And I'm holding it upside down, as you see. And about 1 inch in, I'm going to put a hole. Being careful not to put the hole on my crease in the bag here, because I don't want that to, have a hole in it. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other side and just eyeball maybe about 1 inch inward and make your hole. Okay, you can go ahead and put eyelets in here. I chose not to, simply because my eyelets have the string comes through, so I don't want to do that. And I do have a gift tag that I'm going to use on this one. It doesn't really match what the look I'm going for, but I just wanted to show you, when you're feeding your ribbon in for your handle, you can go ahead and add, this type of element in case you want to go ahead and address it or anything like that. So I'm going to make a gift tag. And I'm just using the We Are Memory Keepers, and I'm using the angle punch just to give it that tag look. I'm going to go in with this hole punch and kind of eyeball the middle and give it a good punch, so that way that tag shape is there. Okay, I didn't quite get it in the middle, but for video's sake, I'm going to leave it as is. You can go ahead and add your grommet or your eyelet on that part. And what I like to do is go ahead and put my tag on like so, and go ahead and feed my seam binding inside the bag. I want to go from the outside in. Once I pull it through, I'll go ahead and tie it in a knot. Try to keep the knot to the end of the bag, to the end of the string here, so that I don't use up all of my seam binding. Because I want a kind of a long string here. Okay, so I'm going to take the other end and do the same. Just feed it through, just as I am. Try the end. Okay, then you can go in and cut those out. If you feel like your string is a little bit longer than what you want it to be, you can go ahead and, kind of snip those. And add the seam binding to the other side as well. Make sure that you are, and I'm using maybe about 12 or 13 inches of the seam binding for my handles. You can use any type of ribbon for this. Anything that you choose that, kind of coordinates with the decorations that you want for your bag. And the reason why I'm doing this is because, like I said, I could use these for future swaps. I can use them for gifts. And I can go ahead and mass produce them because it really just doesn't take that long to create them. I can go ahead and mass produce a few of them so that way I can have something available for when I'm trying to, maybe sending out some happy mail or something like that. I'll already have some on hand. I'm not certain if this is something that has already been constructed before. And if it is, I'm sorry, I have not seen any videos like this. I'm not trying to take credit from anyone, but I just felt like it was something just really simple, and it popped into my head on my last swap that I was doing. Didn't want to get too bulky in sending out happy mail or, a swap for something really small, so I just decided that I'll make, didn't want to go out and buy a bag. I decided I'd make one so that way it'll be cute upon delivery. And this one's giving me a hard time. Kind of hard to see when I'm trying to put it in on camera, so I do apologize. I had to step away from the camera to get that one entered. I'm just struggling with this thing today. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a good tie. You can put it in a knot as well, but I didn't put it in a double knot. I just put it one because it's not going anywhere. It's a good fit. Okay. So I did have some more of those little die cuts that I used on my other bag. I'm going to go ahead and grab one real quick. Let me see if I got a die cut here. Yeah, I got some old scraps here from another project that I was working on. Once I finish a project, sometimes I'll go ahead and cut things down, like in strips and things like that, so that way I'll have something available for like card bases. I'll go ahead and cut things down for that purpose. So I'm going to go ahead and put that right there on that tag. That's really cute. And I think I'm going to go ahead and put, I like this paper, and it looks really good with this. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and kind of dress it up just a little bit. Give it some character. I don't know who's going to be the recipient of this, but let me see what else. Got some cute little things going on in here. Just some little cutouts, and most of them are just letters because I think I'm going to do this. Thank you right here. Just adding some flavor to the bag. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Just layer some things together, kind of give it the eclectic look. But I think this is going to turn out just fine. So I'll put this little decorative piece on the front of the tag, or you can go in and put the name on the back side. I'm going to go in and add this little strip of paper. This is one of those hot buys at Michael's that I received maybe about a year ago, and I'm just getting around to using it all. I made a mini album with it. I made a deck of a stack of cards, and these were some of the pieces that I had left over from the cards that I was making. So I'm going to go ahead and just use these up. And like I said, these were scrap pieces of paper left over from the collection. I just cut them up and put them into this little photo, this little photo book, just to keep from having to throw it out and needing these pieces again. I think I want to pop that up. I want to pop. Where are my little? I can't seem to find it. Give me just a second, guys. Okay, so I couldn't find my my pop darts. I don't know where I put them. I've been trying to clean up around here, but not able to. So I'm gonna just take a piece of chipboard and back it. Make sure I don't cut too much off. Don't want too much or too little, but just kind of enough to give it some dimension. Yeah, that's perfect. So I'll take my glue and glue this to the back of my thank you. And put this, add the glue to the back of it, and add it just here. And hold it so that way that glue can go ahead and here. Put this up out of the way. Like I said, I had these little photo things. I get them all the time when they're at Michael's for 60% off, or you know, and I'll go ahead and put some ephemera or bits and pieces in those. So I use my, go ahead and put my tag on here, put my to and from, using my little Faber-Castell Hit Artist pen. I'm going to go ahead and put my to and from. Okay. So there's my bag. Just wanted to come on and share with you how I created this bag. This is one, as well as this one. I used the same manner, same fashion that I did on the others. I just kind of went in and made it, you know, decorated them a little different. So thank you so much for coming on today and watching my video of how I made my little 4 by 4 1/4 by 6 1/2 little shopping bag, or my little gift bag. You have a crafty day. Thank you.